It didn't work. Why not? Okay. Hello, everyone, and thank you so very much for coming back by to visit me. Yours truly, Miss Anita. Today, I have a special guest, my good friend, and also a founder of Reach Out Lakota, and she's going to share her experience, her vision, how she got started, and since we're going into the holiday season, Thanksgiving is coming up next week. Wow, everything is happening so fast. And then next month, Christmas. So this is a time of where there'll be more people who may possibly be in need. Um, and I think with what she's going to share with you, how her vision got started, maybe could help some people out there who might be interested in getting involved in your local communities. Now we have, I'm sure that there are opportunities all around the United States where you can contribute in some kind of way if you want to help out. So I'm going to let Miss Sharon take it over. Her name is Sharon McGuire, and she is the founder of Reach Out Lakota. All right, I'll let you take it.
Well, just a quick bio. Back in '91, always call this a God thing. I worked with a lady who was collecting items for people that had needs. Her husband was a fireman here, and through the fire department, they were collecting items. So I worked that program just because they were asking for volunteers. And I grew up here, but I really didn't know some of the basic needs some people had in the area. I don't know, I just was blind to that, I guess. So that kind of woke me up to see all the needs that were here, because a lot of people look at our community and think it's an affluent community, but there's a lot of people that still have a lot of needs. So I started working with two ladies who had the same vision that I shared with them about starting a food pantry. I said, it's great, people will do things at Christmas time, but what do they do the rest of the year? So we started talking about forming something. We did this for about the first 2 or 3 months, and then we sent letters to people in the community that we could recognize, like organizations and churches and so forth, just saying, would you like to see if we can start something for the community here? So people started coming to these meetings. So we met about the first 9 months, and then we became incorporated. We had someone that did pro bono as an attorney that got us all set up, so we could get our credentials from the state of Ohio and so forth. So fast forward from the beginning of that year to November of that year, we actually opened up a pantry. We had no clue how it was going to work. We had no clue how we were going to finance it, other than a couple of the local churches gave us a little bit of seed money. And we just kind of stepped out there on faith and was just winging it. We found that the school nurses at our school system knew of some families in crisis. So they shared with those families that we had a food and clothing pantry. And that's really what started the first clients that we had. So fast forward almost 20 years now. Actually, we'll be 30 years.
That's why I thought you
and next year. And so we have had over the years many, many wonderful volunteers in this community that have helped this program along. We couldn't have done it without them. We have one, our CEO is a paid full-time director, and he's a wonderful guy. And then also we have 2 part-time people. We have a lady that works at the front desk, and then also someone that does a little bit of accounting for us. So those 2 people are paid minimally, but Scott's our main person. And this organization has just thrived. It was kind of interesting because the former Speaker of the House lives in our community, and he actually spoke about us on the floor of the House one time.
Who is he?
John Boehner.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And talked about when they were talking about people in the community that really came forward to help other people. So he mentioned Reach Out Lakota on the floor of the House. So we thought that was really a cool thing too.
Very good.
So we are totally community supported.
That's right. He does live around here.
Right.
Yeah, he lives around here.
Yeah, we're a totally community supported food and clothing pantry. We rely on our community for the financial support and also the contributions of food and clothing that we receive. We decided that we would try to define it in a area that would be easy for people to understand. So we are totally in the Lakota school system area. So the district that the school system serves is the same area that we serve as Reach Out Lakota. Therefore, it makes us totally a community-supported pantry that the ownership is in the community also. We felt that's been a very success to us because we're not relying on like United Way or anything like that for funding. It's just people in the community that share the same ideas that we have, that there are people that have needs. So we started out a food and clothing pantry, and we started out, I found a 900 square foot space for us. We outgrew
you did that all by yourself
pretty quickly. Well, it was kind of tough being able to have a commercial spot.
Yeah.
So then we expanded to double the space, and then those were both rental properties. And now we have our own facility that the church next door to us has given us a property to build on. So we have built on this property now.
Very nice.
And it's just has grown so much. It's amazing. So in the 30 years, we've like a family is a number, like number one was a family, number two, etc. So we're up to like client family number about 2,500 now.
Wow.
So right, and it's just like I said, a lot of people just really don't have an idea that there are people that really have needs in our community.
Exactly. And, I think we all just assume like, oh, you like you said earlier, you figure like this is a very affluent neighborhood and nobody's struggling, but that's not necessarily true.
It isn't.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't even know because a lot of the churches like to keep their own pantry and so forth for their parishioners, but I think a lot of people don't realize that if you're in a church, you might not want to have people in the church know that you're struggling.
Exactly.
So the chances of you going outside the church to get assistance and so forth is stronger than within. But obviously they can still have their own. But we found that that is the case with a lot of people. So we do now we've started about probably 5 years into it. We started a Christmas program where we actually have people sponsor children and buy gifts for them at Christmas time.
That's nice.
And then we added a Thanksgiving program where we give food boxes for the clients to prepare their own meals.
Yeah.
And then also now we do a back to school program. So we supply backpacks and
yes, I remember
supplies,
that. Yeah, and I think my one girlfriend, I believe she helped. As a matter of fact, she was one of my guest speakers, Kim McKinney. I was sharing with you. I believe that she's helped out with Reach Out Lakota. And I want to say it's that when the beginning of the school. But
probably.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Been very successful. Like this year, we have usually about 600 to 800 kids that pre-qualify for the program. And then we're doing Thanksgiving right now. We have over 200 families that will be getting Thanksgiving to them next Monday and Wednesday. And then for our Christmas program, we usually have about 800 kids. We're up in the 680, I think, bracket right now, but it will continue to increase.
You get a lot of volunteers too to help out, to distribute out the food and stuff like that.
We can't do without the volunteers. Like I said, other than just having a CEO, yes, we have to have the volunteers. And there are some people that have volunteered. We have some volunteers that's been there over 20 years. I mean, it's incredible.
That is amazing.
Incredible.
And that's a blessing behind that, to be able to give.
And I think they feel blessed as much as the clients do.
Exactly.
I used to work the front desk for a while, for a number of years, and it was just great because I could actually have on hands, with the clients themselves.
Yeah.
And when you're packing food orders or whatever, you don't get that interaction with clients like you do in a couple other areas. So I loved doing that. I have somebody that we pay now to do that, but I did it for about 7 or 8 years. And on Monday night, I worked the front desk.
Very good.
It's just amazing. I mean, I look back and see how God has had his hand in this thing all the way through, from the very beginning of how we started to how we've had this support. Once in a while, we'll be low on something, let's say cereal. We put a little blurb out to the community, and I mean, all of a sudden, our shelves are full of cereal because that's how people roll in this community. I mean, they're just totally supportive. And the school system has been a real blessing to us because, like I said, the first clients that we got were nurses knew about issues. And if the kids are in the school system, which our school system is pretty large, are in the school system, then, they go home with information about Reach Out Lakota on a regular basis. And then, if the family has a crisis or something, then they know that they can use our facility. So that's basically kind of our whole thing.
That's amazing.
It is amazing.
I mean, it's amazing how it started from, something really small, and then it just builds and builds up, and how you guys have played a major part in the community as far as helping out. And I know that there's across the board there. I know that there's other food pantries that if anybody wants to contribute or help or even volunteer, I mean, it's out there. You just got to do a little research, maybe go online, and I'm sure that you know I would suggest starting with the churches, maybe even starting with the schools, possibly. You think?
I think,
Excuse me for one second. I'm gonna let you carry it on. I'll let you talk. I'll be right back. Okay. I'm so sorry. Forgive me.
I was telling Anita the other day that there's a lot of communities have a food pantry. It might be located in a church, or it might be in a civil or community building or whatever, but a lot of areas do. Now, if we have someone that comes into our pantry asking for food and they do not live in our district that we serve, we will give them what we call emergency food, and then we will also share with them an area pantry in their area that they can go to. So all across the country, there are a lot of places that do have food pantries, sometimes food and clothing pantries, whatever. But I would suggest that you would go to look up in the city that you live in, maybe go to the phone book and look up the city itself, and maybe go to the police department number, or one of those community numbers, and just ask them, because most of the time they would know where one is and so forth.
Yeah.
So that would be a good first start, I think. But there are many of them out there. Now, they all work differently. Some require some credentials, and some might not, whatever. So there's a lot of variety of ways that it's worked, but there's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of people that are willing to help. They just need the direction of knowing how to help.
Exactly. You're absolutely right. And guys, please forgive me. I know that I see a few people that are leaving chat comments, and I can't see it's on my tablet that we're doing this interview. So please forgive me. I think the last time that I had an interview, I was up so close. I know you guys was looking at my forehead, so I'm sorry. And plus, I know my vision is bad too. So, but I do want to thank you guys for coming by to visit. I had to cut I forgot I had the TV set on. So if that was a distraction too, please forgive me. That's my fault. I was trying to make sure I had everything in order before you got here. But there's always one thing that you're like, okay, yeah, I forgot to do. That was the one thing I forgot to do.
And I know Anita mentioned also that, this time of year, a lot of people are thinking about people in need at this time of year, or if you have needs this time of year, you might, right now with inflation and so forth, the way it is, I mean, you're really struggling probably to, meet your normal budget, which would be, gas and food and all those things. So don't hesitate to reach out to someone. I mean, we always, we go with the attitude that any of us could be in that situation at any time.
That is
absolutely.
I've had to use a food pantry in the past. I've been in a position where I've had to go to the food pantry, and they treated me very kindly. Never made me feel never made me feel bad. Or and if you need help, because we never know from one day to the other how things are going to be. We don't know.
Absolutely.
So if you're right, if you do find yourself in a place where you need some help, or of someone or a friend or a loved one, sometimes we may not always want to say. If you have an idea, you may want to pass that information along, or you may have to take that extra step and maybe look in your community to see who is offering, and maybe you have to hold their hand to get them there. I don't know, because that is a sensitive and delicate sometimes situation, depending on who you're dealing with.
Right. It is. I mean, I've had people sitting in front of my desk that one particular guy was a lawyer that had lost his license, and I mean, he was so ashamed to come in. I mean, he sat there with tears in his eyes, and we just reassure people that any of us could be there at any time. We just don't know.
That's right.
And a lot of different situations. We had a lady of one time whose husband just abruptly left, and I mean, she had this very, very expensive luxury car that she was driving,
and everybody just assumed that she was doing that.
And you can't, let's say something like that happened. You can't just dump a house immediately. Of course, now the market's been pretty good with that. But, dump your house right away and your car and so forth to be able to downsize immediately. So, I mean, you have to take all those things into consideration. And you really, like I said, there's no shame at all into asking for assistance. We call ourselves, we ask people a hand up instead of a hand out.
Right.
So that's our motto, and we
I
try
like
to
it.
do that. We've
I
had
like that
people that
model.
have been
Hand
able to
up.
just come a few times
Yep.
and be able to get back on their feet again. We've
Yep.
had people that had to come on a semi-regular basis.
And they
you
may
know.
even come back. The ones that at one time needed help might come back and volunteer to help out
Right.
too as well.
And we've had people
Yeah.
that said, I was at the other end at one time. I was bringing stuff to you guys, and
Yeah.
now I have to
Yeah.
ask for assistance. So there's
Yeah. And where do you go, by the way? Because I actually do have some things that I do want to give. Where do I just go to the church facility if I want
well,
to?
it's not a church; it's our own building.
The building. So
Yeah, it's next to Westchester Presbyterian if you live in the Westchester area.
right.
But yeah, we have a shed out back that can hold food, non-perishable, of course. And then we have a
and
shed that we can
gently
put clothing
use
in.
clothing too.
Right.
Yeah.
And or our hours, we have a Monday evening operation from 5 to 7, and Wednesdays and Fridays is 10 to noon. So any of those times that clients can come in to use our services. But if you're dropping off things,
Yeah.
even our community, like our police department, has a barrel and so forth that they can take
Okay. Yeah,
donations
because I
anytime in
have
the lobby.
yeah, I have a few things and clothes too. Because my granddaughter has some. Actually, there's probably a few things she probably only wore once or twice because well, she's with me sometimes, but of course she's with her parents. But when she's with me, I try to have some stuff here. But if she's only wearing it like once or twice, then it's not. Yeah, so they're in good condition, and I'd like for somebody else to
Exactly.
have it, and it could be a blessing for someone
Exactly.
else.
And we share too, like if we have an abundance of, let's say, coats or something, and there's a church in Hamilton I keep contact with if they really have
Okay.
needs and so forth, and we have some extras we can share, we'll do that too.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, yeah, that's really good. Very good. Yeah, I don't know if any of you guys have any questions, and I would like to see if I can find it on my phone, which I probably can't. It's just, let's see. Wait a minute. No, we are live, so maybe I can find the questions here. Let's see. Put the volume down because I don't want to.
I've often told people that even if you don't have the reward of knowing that you're helping someone else, the camaraderie that people build as volunteers there
Okay,
is really
I was
amazing
able to
too.
pull them up. I had to figure out how to do this. That's why I brought myself off because I'm thinking there has to be a method to this instead of them seeing my forehead. I think Mr. Josh and Miss Ursula was staring at my forehead a couple of times because I didn't know what I was doing. So, hello, Miss Ursula. Hello, Mr. Brent. He's on here. And, oh, Miss Know-It-All. Hello, how are you doing?
I thought that was me.
Okay. So if anyone has any questions, just let us know. I mean, or if you have any comments that you want to leave, if you know, like in your community, maybe, because I know everybody's not here in Ohio, so you may know of some organizations or nonprofit places where people, if they want to donate food or gently worn clothes to that particular organization.
And I would say too, if anyone's out there that wants to start something like that in their community,
Yeah. That's a good.
like I said, I think the best resource, like I said, we just found people in the area that we just started sending letters to. Of course, now it's probably emails, but letters to just to say,
Yeah.
we're talking about trying to start a pantry that's in the community, and we're going to meet such and such time and so forth. Would you be interested in just, a lot of the churches would send us somebody from the church and so forth that's on the mission committee or whatever. But that's how we got started, just with asking people if they wanted to work with us to see if we might want to start. We didn't know for sure if we were going to start, but we just felt like that was a need.
Right.
And so that's how we got started. But that would be a way I suggest to get started if you're thinking that you would have a need in the community.
Yeah, that's good. Very good. And again, because we're getting ready to head into Thanksgiving, like to me after Thanksgiving, it's a straight shot because everybody's gonna be hurrying, scurrying around trying to shop, and not only for food or presents and gifts and stuff like that, and what have you. So, and then this is a time I think where people around this time, and I've mentioned this many times on some of my other videos, we're going into the season where people may be sad or feeling lonely or what have you, and yeah, and it's a struggle. So anything that's going to help take some of the strain off, like if there is pantries out there, or maybe they might could use some help in that way. And who knows? Maybe with some of the organizations, there might be some openings where it could. I mean, I don't know too much about a lot of them, but maybe they can find some other resources where they can get some support or help as well. And I don't know if Reach Out Lakota, because you guys do such a wide variety of things. Is there ever any situation where there is a need besides, like food or something, and you've had to redirect them to maybe somewhere else?
Oh yeah, we do referrals. Like Scott, our director, has his social service, social worker degree, and our director previous to that was with us for 25 years. She just retired less than 3 years ago, and she also was a licensed social worker.
Okay.
So there's always resources that we refer people to for other needs,
That's
like
good.
rent assistance and
That's
different
very
things
good.
like that.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah, and just for support too.
Right.
If sometimes just when I was talking to Mrs. McKinney too, she's involved with so many nonprofit organizations, but she was stating that there's organizations for people who suffer with grief or loss of a loved one. And actually, I did get in contact with one of them. I haven't followed up though, but they did send me an email, so I need to reach out and see, because I know for me that is a struggle, because of my losses in my family. I mean, you've known me for a little while now, and so it's around this time. It can be
It
a
is
little
hard.
bit
A lot of
challenging.
people, yes.
Yeah, and
It's
I
not
know, I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people out there that are hurting. So, yeah, but I thank you so very much
You're
for
very welcome. I
coming
enjoyed it.
come on board to visit with me and to have them. And we was having some trouble the other day. That was kind of, I couldn't get it right on my end, and yeah, we
Well,
were having some
probably mine
technical.
too.
It's okay. We got through it though, but you're here now, and that's what counts as far as I'm concerned. I thank you so very much, Miss
You're
Sharon.
welcome, dear. Appreciate
Yeah, you're a sweetie. And yeah, she's been a really dear friend. Let me tell you, she's helped me out a lot. And even when I was in the hospital a couple of years ago, I mean, she was there for me then, and she's come through for me many, many, many times. So she's been a real godsend, a blessing. And
You're an easy friend.
thank you. Well, and how I met Sharon was through church. And I'm trying to remember. Did you approach me? Because I know I had wanted to. I was checking church home. This is a few
Yeah, I was
years
telling
ago.
you about our women's group and so forth.
Yeah, that's how we could. That's
Yeah.
exactly right. And I think I sat with you a few times on Sunday. Then I went to one of your Bible. They have a Bible studies. Yeah, that's right. That's how we met.
And then now we live less than 2 miles apart.
Yeah, we're very close to one another. Yeah. So you guys, I don't know if you all have any more, but I just wanted to hop on board for a little while to share with what Sharon does as far as the Reach Out Lakota, but also, just food pantries in general, because we know that, again, they're all across the board. There are some you just have to look in your local community as to where they're at. And if no one has any questions or any comments, I'll wait a moment or two. And if not, then I'm going to probably end this, because I know it's kind of late evening and your husband will probably be working.
Oh, he'll be in bed by the time I get home.
Okay. So I don't see any questions. So I thank you guys for stopping by to visit yours truly, Miss Anita.
And happy Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah, and happy Thanksgiving to you guys, and thank you too so very much, Sharon. I appreciate you coming by. All right, you guys. Well, I'm going to wrap it up, and I'll see you guys again at the next video or a live chat. You guys take care, and thanks again. Bye-bye.
Bye.